Welcome everyone. Thank you for watching this video, the third one on the How to Write a Book series. My name is Kristen Levis. I am the author of the young adult best-selling novels, The Girl Between Two Worlds and The Girl Between Light and Dark with Anvil Publishing. Okay, in the first video of the series, we covered some easy tips on how to start writing your first book. And in the second one, it was about plotting and pantsing. Let's continue the series with this third video. For this episode, I want to discuss how to research books and how I did my own research for my books. Now, as much as I want to say that I traveled to all the places I wrote about, that's just not the case. I wish that was the case though. Anyway, before we start, I want to remind everyone that if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the comment section below or contact me. I'll try to answer them either through my blog or the next video. Let's start the video. Research. Okay, research is such an important part of the whole book writing process. But if you're a fiction writer, you might ask, why do I need to do any research at all? Why not just make everything up? That's like a totally legitimate question. Why can't you just make things up? I'm a fiction writer anyway. Just pause and think about it for a second. You want to make your readers believe your story as much as possible. You want to immerse them into your book, no matter how strange it is. You want them to connect with your characters and extend the suspension of disbelief. It is because of these reasons that you want to mix a good dose of reality into your fiction. It will help draw your readers even more to your story. You can research things like the setting, everyday life of a doctor or an astronaut, or a specific type of experience, like how to ride a unicycle. Whatever it is, you need to base it on some research to give it authenticity. For one of my books, I had to research a type of injury that could stop someone from moving, but still keep them alive for a couple of days. What I did with this one, I asked an actual doctor, yep, an actual doctor about this. And she was very helpful. She gave me different scenarios and possibilities, realistic timelines of how long my character could live given, certain parameters like health, age, location, and so on. It gave my character's problem authenticity, even if it's a fiction novel. So, how do I do my own research exactly? Okay, I'm going to tell you three main ways I do my own research. The first one is interwebs. Ta-da. The internet. What did we do before it came to our lives? Library, right? Reading newspapers and magazines. The internet has made it so much easier to research virtually anything under the sun. The problem with the internet is not knowing which websites are reliable and which ones are not. In today's fake news, too many out there. You have to separate the dodgy ones from the real ones. Also, just because the internet is there doesn't mean there are plenty of resources for your specific topic. For instance, when I did my own research on Philippine mythology for The Girl Between Two Worlds, it wasn't that easy to find a cohesive and complete research on the origins of the creatures. I had to jump from site to site to find as much information as possible. It was good that I already knew the basic information of the creatures I used in the novel, otherwise, it would have been pretty hard. My advice, rely on the sites that you know are authentic. Maybe use the internet as the first point of contact before searching for the physical copy of a book or a paper, or the right person to interview, which I'll be discussing later on. Second source, real life experience. I was lucky that before I started writing fiction, I've already collected a number of years of amazing experiences because of my previous line of work as a TV broadcast journalist. I was able to visit remote places, experience difficult and sometimes hilarious situations, and met so many different people. I use the places I've been to as inspiration for the settings in my books. I visited plenty of small towns and major cities in the Philippines and overseas, and they gave me inspiration for my stories. There are also situations in my life that made it to the pages of my first novel. Just a bit of a hint. One such experience had something to do with a cockroach inside a mosquito net in my first novel. I didn't say it was a good experience, but most found that hilarious. I did not when it was happening. Now, I'm writing my fourth novel right now, but not even half of my life experiences have made it to the pages. There's more coming in future books. Some of these personal experiences are even too bizarre to actually be true. Remember, though, Art imitates life, and most books are semi autobiographical. Third source of my research is interviews. Again, my previous line of work came in handy with my storytelling. I have interviewed countless people and have seen different lifestyles from different societal hierarchies, from politicians to the super rich to the overseas domestic helpers and people living under bridges. It's all a very rich tapestry of human differences. Although I fictionalize the characters, more than a half of the characters in my books are based on real life people that I either know or have met. I take things like mannerisms and pet peeves, favorite foods, their experiences in certain situations, and other such nuances, and use them in my characters. What about the villains? Huh, unfortunately, I have met my own share of corrupt people as well. Sometimes I have to create my own backstory for my villains, but there are also times when that backstory comes to me quite easily. When I do use specific people in my novels, I don't really end up basing one character on one person. It is usually a combination of different things from different people, maybe a mannerism from one and a pet peeve from another, or a physical look from one and an emotional crutch from another person. It's like being Dr. Frankenstein, cutting and stitching things together to create a whole character. It's the same with my life experiences of my characters as well. It's either a really good story that was told to me, or I personally experienced it myself. One of my friends, who is an author, goes through the experiences he writes about it authentically. Meaning, if the character is tasting bitter coffee, it means the writer himself has had bitter coffee. It is really up to you how far you'd go to experience what your character is experiencing. I think it's called method acting if you're an actor. So, how long do I spend researching before writing my books? When do I research my books? Actually, it depends on the project. With my third book, I researched the setting and the affluent lifestyle of the characters before starting the project. But with the Girl series, I just researched when I got to the point where I needed to know a specific thing. Sometimes when I'm in the zone and I don't want to stop the momentum, I leave some space in the manuscript and come back to it later on when I've gotten the information I needed. There was one instance where I had to change my character's predicament because I had gotten information quite later on when I already finished the book. Having said that, I try not to get too distracted by the research itself because I won't end up having enough time to actually write the book. So that's my whole book researching experience. One last thing before we close. I do a lot of people watching when I'm out and about because, from experience, something always catches my attention that I end up using in my books. You never know what you'll see when you're out. Just don't be too creepy about it and stare too much. That's it for the third video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, add them in the comments below or send me an email. Again, thank you everyone. Please share the video to other writers who might find this useful, or you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook or subscribe to my newsletter on my site. Just head to kmlevis.com. If you subscribe, you will get my ebook to writing fiction and nonfiction, as well as the first chapters of my second book, The Girl Between Light and Dark. Thank you again, everyone, and until next time. See you next time.